Hey everybody, welcome back to the 25 Days of Christmas here in Row Country. Today we're making this really cute sign, so stay tuned. Okay everybody, so we're going to jump right in, and I want to show you that I did take my white Waverly chalk paint and I went ahead and painted the face and around the edges of all of the pieces that sit up. And I also picked up this sign at Michael's and painted the base of it. Again guys, all in that white chalk paint. I used a flat edge to remove this extra piece that came on the Santa, and I'm going to cover that and some other pieces with this car cloth from the Dollar Tree. Guys, the 25 Days of Christmas here in Row Country is all about super quick, super easy DIYs that you can put together pretty quickly if you're looking for a last minute gift or if you're looking for last minute decor. Okay, so I just went ahead and cut a piece of this car cloth away. I actually had this extra piece laying around, and I'm going to use it to cover this piece here. This came off of the Santa face, and I'm just going to use my hot glue gun and I'm going to attach it just like this. We'll trim away all the extra material. Now, some of my decor is definitely going to be in this red and black buffalo check this year. I love it. And when I saw this little tree skirt, I knew that I could use this in some of my upcoming DIYs, and I actually want to use it to cover Santa's hat. So I just removed the tag from the Santa sign. I'm not even going to worry about the hole in the top where the hanger was. We're going to cover it. And then I'm going to use the Santa cutout as sort of a template. And I'm just going to figure out how I want this material to come around the Santa's hat at the top. Now, hindsight being what it is, I probably would have left it in this position, but I thought to myself, hey, I could probably use the trim on this tree skirt. Guys, that was a fail on my part. You're going to see here in real time how things change whenever I start on a DIY project and it's not going the way that I want it. If it were me doing this again, I would have left it in that position right here, and I would not have even tried to use the trim on this hat. So just keep that in mind if you're going to try to go ahead and do this DIY. If you don't want to go the extra step and add the black trim on your Santa, then you don't want to follow along the way that I'm doing this. You will definitely want to cut this in a different way and leave the trim off of your finished edge. Now guys, if the finished project is what you like, then what you'll need to do if you cut that the way that I did is you'll need to cut slits into this so that you're able to make it round the way that the Santa hat would be going. So I went ahead and just cut some slits, and I'll use some hot glue to put it down in the right manner. So my intention was to give this Santa a nice brim, that white fluffy fur around his face, and bringing back the piece that we covered in the car cloth really would have been enough, hindsight being what it is. But as I mentioned, the way to get around this is to cut this into slits and then bring it around the curve of this Santa, and then we'll move on to the next step. So at this point, I go ahead and I bring back that piece that we covered in the car cloth. The intention was, again, just to have this massive amount of fluffy white fur around Santa's face, and I put this down before I finish attaching the buffalo check hat to the Santa, because I kind of want to get a feel for where the pom-pom would go. This was my thinking at the time. So I just used some hot glue and attached it down. Now, once that was in place, I went ahead and turned over my Santa head and I trimmed away a lot of the extra fabric that was hanging off of the other side so that I could finish it off. And it was at this point that I sort of said to myself that I really wasn't loving the way that it was turning out. I did put some slits into the fabric so that I could hot glue this down fairly easily. Again, guys, I am not the crafter that finishes off the backs of a lot of the things that I do. I don't sell my crafts. This would be something that you would definitely want to do if you wanted to give this as a gift or to sell it. Now, it was right here in the project that I decided that I was definitely going to use the black pom-poms to set off the hat away from the fuzzy part of the white trim on the Santa's face. And so I just bring these in and I'm really just covering the part that I cut from the tree skirt. So again, guys, really and truly, I feel like looking back on this, if I would have just covered the piece that came off the Santa face in the white and then just cut away the tree skirt and left off this extra trim, this would not even be a part of this DIY. But I have to be honest with you, I'm loving the black and the red together, and I'm really loving how the scallop ends up looking on these pom-poms by covering what I covered on this Santa face. So in the end, I'm totally fine with how this turns out. But guys, our Santa needs a little more color, so I'm going to use Ballet Slipper Waverly chalk paint for his nose. And then I'm also going to bring back more of this car cloth and I'm going to glue it down to the raised part of the face so that I can add a nice little mustache for him. So I painted the nose and I didn't put that on camera, but now I'm going to show you how it is that I'm covering the mustache. Now, I thought about these white pom-poms, but in the end, I really do like the texture of the car cloth, and that's what I used. So after gluing it down, I brought in my mini cutting mat that I picked up at the Dollar Tree too, guys, and just a straight edge blade, and I'm trimming away the car cloth from the piece that I hot glued it to just to give it more definition. I didn't like all this extra fur sort of around his face, so just take your time with this as well. If you wanted to, you could try to remove that from the face itself with a flat edge like you do with the top part of this Santa face, but I just felt like this might actually be a little bit easier to do, and that's what I did. So I brought in my detailed scissors afterwards and really just trimmed up his mustache. Now we want to turn our attention to the Santa sign. So I just used some painter's tape to mark off, the part that I don't want painted black. And I'm bringing in ink by Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the word Santa in this black chalk paint. Now this sign has an indentation where the word Santa sits down inside. I want to make sure that I, hit that with my black chalk paint as well. Okay guys, so I let that dry. This is what Santa looks like, and here's what the sign looks like when it's dry. I love pulling back painter's tape to reveal a nice crisp edge. Anywhere that you may need to touch up like I need to do, you will want to do that before you assemble the rest of this. So I'm just going to touch that up with a little bit more of the white matte chalk paint that I have. And this sign came from Michael's, guys. It was 99 cents plus I had an additional coupon. It was like 79 cents. So it definitely beat the Dollar Tree in terms of the size and also the dollar. So I'm just going to attach it to Santa's beard just like this with a little bit of hot glue. Take your time with this, guys. Just know that this piece, the Santa piece, even with the additional fabric and things like that on it, this Santa sign holds him up perfectly. I did not need to reinforce it at all, and when he is attached, he sits up really nice. It's going to look really cute sitting on maybe a shelf or a coffee bar. This modern country farmhouse wooden face decor really came together well, and I love the scallop on his hat after all. But I want to know what you think, so leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this $3 DIY modern country farmhouse wooden Santa face decor that I was able to put together for my 25 days of Christmas. There will be another video coming soon. While you're here, don't forget to hit subscribe and watch another video, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks so much, guys. Bye!